On this episode of Travels with Bill, we're in Esterhazy, Saskatchewan to look at the Potash Interpretive Centre and the Esterhazy Museum. There's lots to see, so stick around. The Potash Interpretive Centre and the museum are both open during the summer. That's the best time to visit. You'll go to the museum first, then come over here to take a tour. Long before you drill a potash mine, you have to start by testing. These are core samples on display at the Potash Centre. They show you what they were looking for when they searched here for potash. It was June 8th, 1962 when the first potash was found at the bottom of the K1 mine, the first potash mine in Saskatchewan. Soon K2 was built, and now both have been replaced with the K3 mine. The Potash Centre generally tells the story of both the K1 and K2 mine. Lots of samples on display here. The bottom one is from Saskatoon. The top is what Esterhazy potash looks like. It's a lot pinker and less red than the potash they get out of some of the other mines. This whole center is set up to make you feel like you're in a mine. This is what the mine shaft looks like when they first build it. Slowly they work their way down. Well, starting here at ground level, this model kind of shows us what's going on. The buckets are how they scoop the dirt out, and then as they go down, they're working on the walls. And when we get to the very bottom of it, you'll see where they're actually scooping out the material and getting deeper and deeper. They had to do this a long ways down to get to the potash layer because it's certainly not anywhere close to the top of the ground. Along the way, they struggled with fighting water. You see the elevator and the CN tower? Those are scale models of just how far down they had to go. And you can see in the different layers here, the word water keeps appearing. Every time they went through one of those layers, they had to try to seal it off to make sure the water wouldn't flood the hole. Because while you're really drilling a potash mine to nature, it looks a lot like a really deep well, and it wants to fill that up for you. Then we get into the mine itself. Now, of course, this is fake. We're actually still above ground here, but it's set up to look like what it would be underground, so you get a good experience of what it's like. See all the circles? That's where the boring machines do their job. Over far there, you can see a bit of conveyor belt going on as well. This is a really cool map. It shows all of the tunnels they dug under K1 and K2. Now what it doesn't show is the new K3 mine. It hasn't been updated yet. K3 is, well, that little pink mark there that someone's put on the map. Right now K3 is working its way towards Esterhazy. They say they're under Esterhazy, just on the outskirts of town. Certainly you can see a lot of work went into figuring out where to drill here, and, well, they did a good job. But with the new mine, even bigger. If you're a rock, you might not want to see this guy coming. That's the head of a boring machine that actually digs into the potash rock and breaks it up so it can be extracted. The Potash Centre is set up so you really see from the beginning of mining all the way through to the end. Lots of displays, also lots of video too, and guided tours available. When you come through, someone will walk through with you and explain all of this stuff to you so you understand exactly what's happening. Of course, then you can spend some time and wander around like we did, taking some pictures. The day of our tour, we had an excellent tour guide who did super good at explaining every bit of it. I'm sure you'll get a good tour guide too, so ask for that guided tour. See the flashlight on the roof? That's actually how they used to check for if the roof was about to collapse. If the roof started to move, the flashlight would turn on. Well, one problem. If no one was around when it turned on, the batteries might go dead before someone noticed. Safety's come a long way since then. Their goal now is no accidents whatsoever, not just fewer accidents. A little bit of a model of the head frame here of one of the mines. Lots of models in this section too. And it feels kind of like you're in a processing facility here. So we've come out of the underground, and this is sort of what you find upstairs in a potash mine as they get it ready. You'll see the video screens there where you can push the different buttons to find out about the different processes that go on during mining and then processing. I love the little scale models they've built here. They've got plaques on them to say who built them too. This one's a dryer, so it's kind of how they dry the potash after they process it and get it ready for storage and eventually going on to the rail cars. Some of it doesn't make the rail cars though, because they actually have potash samples here at the Potash Centre. So they'll give you a potash sample when you come through. You can take some home with you. There's a bit of a look at the conventional milling process that goes on at the Esterhazy mines. This is a model of a compactor. It takes small crystals, makes them into bigger ones, so they can sort them out and get them where they need to go. Beautiful mural here as well. The Potash Centre, well worth a visit to Esterhazy because you'll learn so very much about it. And you've always wondered what's underground? Well, that underground room really does a good job of making you feel like you're right in a mine, so definitely worth checking out. Potash, of course, the provincial mineral of Saskatchewan. Oh, they've done a great job here. It's so cool to be inside here. Feels like the mine, so do make sure to drop by and visit. Well, right next door to the Potash Centre is the Esterhazy Museum. Now, this is actually where you'll start your visit because there's a desk in there where you'll find some folks. They'll get you set up with the tour of both. The museum has a self-guided tour, but it also has an interpreted tour, so they'll walk around with you and show you everything. The day of our visit, we took the self-guided tour, and it was pretty cool. They have every room set up, so it's actually letters of the rooms, so you know where you are. You read the little brochure to see what's going on. See the stuffed animals there, plus the mural. That mural is amazing, painted by a local. When we visited, the two people working had actually both taken art classes from the painter here. Well, they did a great job. It shows everything from the beginning of time all the way through to modern day automobiles. Very neat mural, definitely worth taking some time to look at. As you wander through the museum in Esterhazy, it kind of strikes you how much work they've done. They've displayed things very well. They've really thought the collections out. Almost everything is labeled too, so it tells you what it is. Many of them have some stories built in with them. Here's a calendar wall. Look at all the calendars from over the years. Of course, it's mostly about the pictures on them, but it's amazing to see them all just wallpapering the wall with the calendars. I like that. Worth looking at each picture and seeing the dates on some of the calendars too. They're not all brand new by any means. Rows of cabinets here showing some neat things, and then we've got some music stuff too, a couple gramophones. If you've never seen one of those work, oh, you're missing out. They're so cool. Speaking of missing out, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you're missing out on videos from all over Canada. Hit the subscribe button and also hit the thumbs up button while you're watching. That way you'll see all our new videos when they come out, and the thumbs up really helps make sure that people see these great places and know exactly where to tour when they come check out our part of the world. This is a model of a house that used to exist just outside of Esterhazy. Unfortunately, the original has been torn down, but the model still exists. Looks pretty cool too. In fact, everything in there is built to scale, and it was all built by hand because the people that built it thought, it was too expensive to buy the bought stuff for it, so they decided to manufacture it on their own. This is the reading room. Some of the books here you can actually take out and read. They've got the Esterhazy area history book there if you need to know a little bit more about it. Some camera supplies here as well, typewriter, all sorts of stuff. Now, the tour guide tells me that a lot of this stuff was donated to the museum, but some of it actually had to be purchased at auction sales, and it's pretty cool how it's all put together. There's the Yarbo post office for you, and the old style of mailboxes. Of course, now we carry a key with us, but the old ones had little combination locks on there that you could unlock. Right next to that, of course, a telephone office, what switchboards used to look like long before you dialed the calls yourself. Operator, please help me. Get me connected to the doctor. In fact, there's a doctor's office upstairs we're going to see in a minute with a telephone in it that was probably connected to the switchboard once upon a time. Each room here kind of has a theme to it. So in the half here we're looking at post office and telephones, then it kind of turns into general store, and then we have the shelves of things that you might buy at the general store. Now they're empty containers now, but it's so cool to see how they all came. Some knickknacks there as well, but the containers really struck me. Some of those I know that you've seen them, maybe in an old garage or something. Well, here they are, all on display. Admission to the museum is by donation. You're not required to pay to get in. The Potash Interpretive Centre, that's free admission as well, so it's well worth the trip to see those things. It's not going to cost you a bunch of money, but certainly supporting the museum, a great idea. Throw a few bucks in the donation jar. They have a few things for sale here, a couple different books from the area you can buy, and they have some trinkets as well. I got myself an Esterhazy Museum coffee cup. It was only $3. Really nice coffee cup, so you may want to take one of those home as a bit of a souvenir. We've moved into the kitchen of the house here. See that refrigerator? It's so cool. Now, it's one of the original refrigerators from way back when. They say it weighs about the same amount as that cook stove does beside it. Well, there hadn't been much miniaturization yet. It's better than an icebox, but it's huge. Makes me curious just how much power it would have used. Now, its plug is certainly a 110 15 amp plug, so it could have used that much, I guess, but it's a lot more than your fridge uses at home today. The museum has an upstairs and a downstairs, so make sure you go up the steps too. Here we are in one of the bedrooms upstairs, so you kind of see how a bedroom would have been laid out there. There's even a baby carriage. You know, Esterhazy was a pretty small place before Potash. About 500 people lived in town. Once they got that first mine going, the town swelled up to about 3,000 people and became a lot more like what it is today. Of course, that wasn't too terribly long ago, was it? Lots of the facilities in Esterhazy came along about that time too, and as the K2 mines come on board and now into the K3 mine, well, it's a busy community. A lot of the communities in the area are busy. There's other mines here besides the Mosaic ones, and people live all over and then commute to work. Well, out the window here at the upstairs, looking out on downtown Esterhazy from inside the museum. Now it's doctor's office time. They've got some neat equipment here. In fact, that is an X-ray machine. It's a very special one. It's shockproof, which makes you wonder, what were X-ray machines like before they were shockproof? Some of the other stuff here is from the old Esterhazy Hospital. They brought it over when that hospital closed, and they're talking now, of course, about whether or not they need a different hospital for Esterhazy, because they think they probably need some more space and certainly some more doctors and nurses. Well, there it is, the Fisher model shockproof X-ray machine. I'm not sure I'd really want an X-ray from that, but I guess the alternative is not having an X-ray at all, so you kind of hope for the best when you're using a machine like that. I'm sure if you knew how to use it, it was probably safe. Bit of a military room. They call this the gun room. So lots of military uniforms here, lots of different guns on display. You'll notice they're well locked in, so you can't get them out of there. But one of the neatest things is the display you're about to see. It shows you all sorts of different shells. Now, of course, I would think there's only 5 or 6 kinds of shells. There's way more than that. These are all labeled so you can see what gun they're for, what kind of ammunition it is. Quite nice. A little bit of stuff about the war here as well. It's not a huge room, but it's got some neat stuff in it. Baby's room kind of wraps up the end here as we look around. Neat quilt in the hallway I didn't get a chance to show you. But as you go throughout the whole museum and the Potash Centre, well, I'd say at least an hour, maybe 2 hours you should allocate to coming here. Here's a view from the air of the two places together. Museum on the right, Potash Centre on the left, of course. Potash Pete is here on the grounds. Actually, when I came for this particular episode, I got to meet Carol. She's the one that kind of created Potash Pete. She drew him. Now, she used to draw a lot of caricatures for the curling bonspiels. So they would always kind of look like Charlie Brown. That's why Potash Pete looks a little like Charlie Brown. Lions Club just put this up last year. They're sure proud of it. It's the accessible play park. Funding from the local club plus Lions International and the town. Check out how cool it is. Now, this is 0 entry, so you can go on this with a wheelchair, no problem at all. Roll right in. It's also got that rubber all the way around, so instead of the rocks that could hurt you a little bit, the rubber is soft and nice and spongy, but you can see lots of kids playing on it. We were here a few weeks back and did a remote broadcast here for the radio station, here for about 4 hours. It was full the entire time because people love the playground. They're actually hoping to expand in the coming years and make it even bigger. Well, the grounds also have a CP rail caboose. There used to be a CP rail line here. It's since been removed. 1996 was the last time there was a train in Esterhazy, then things kind of disappeared pretty quick after that. Shameless plug though, when you're in Esterhazy, make sure you listen to Easy FM. That's our radio station. One of the things I do as a day job when I'm not traveling around filming these videos. Well, that's a quick peek at the Esterhazy Potash Interpretive Centre and, of course, the museum. You'll do so much better when you come yourself because there's so much more to see than I can show you in a short video, but you at least know what to expect and why you should make plans to visit Esterhazy. Farewell for now from the potash capital of the world, Esterhazy, Saskatchewan. We'll see you next time on a future episode of Travels with Bill.